Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So I want to talk about Daryl Dixon Season 2 because we do have a lot of news regarding the show just in general. So before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. We are exactly 1 month away until the show premieres now. So finally, we're at the point here where every day that passes is going to be very, very exciting. And I cannot wait for the show to premiere. There's so much here in terms of the story that I'm just so excited to see. I want to know more specifics with Daryl's storyline. And it looks like this month here, or I guess it's not technically this month, but once we start September, there's going to be a lot of promotion for this show here because The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, it's been confirmed now, or at least as of a couple days ago, that the show will be getting a supersized premiere here. There's actually going to be 2 specials that premiere before the show here, and I'm getting this here from comicbook.com, so I'll leave a link down below to this article. I believe the week before on AMC Plus, so starting September 22nd, if you have AMC Plus, you'll have access to watching the Comic-Con special and whatnot, because I guess there's going to be some sort of special that's released then. I don't know if it's going to be the panel, like literally just that, or if there's going to be some behind the scenes stuff of the actors walking out on stage and whatnot. But yeah, that's definitely going to be something that I'll check out for sure. There's a lot of like best of Daryl and like best of Carol stuff that they're going to have on there. I mean, they've done that before with like the best of Rick and the best of Michonne, and they've done that before in the past as well. Like even with the Walking Dead final season, I remember them doing like the best of all of these characters and all that. Actually, I'm remembering that for the Walking Dead season 10 bonus episodes. I remember that was sort of something that came out around that time, I believe anyways. I could be wrong. But before The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 2 premieres on September 29th, just beforehand for like an hour, I guess, there's going to be an hour-long special here called The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon The Return, and it's going to focus a lot on, I guess, the excitement for the next season, and it's just going to be a special talking about the next season, and I'm guessing a lot of like, Melissa McBride being involved and what it was like to film it and have her back on the show and all of that. So I'm going to be checking that out. That's definitely something I will for sure watch. I'm really excited for that. And then yeah, after that's over, we're going to get to watch the very first episode of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 2. So really exciting news here. I will say I do miss that Talking Dead is not a thing. Like, I've talked about this before, and I see a lot of the complaints online as well. Like, you just wish that in some way Talking Dead could exist. Like, I think that was always something that, like, for me, I never really watched for the last however many years, but I would always check out here and there. And the reason why I never watched is because I always did reviews and breakdowns of the episodes. And I think that's what actually helped when AMC Plus came around, because I would review the episodes earlier, have all of that done and whatnot, so that I could actually watch the show on cable, in the evening, and then afterwards watch Talking Dead. And it was always a lot of fun. Obviously I watched Talking Dead all the time for the first however many seasons, like basically since it first started. And it's a really fun way for fans, I think, to talk, just about certain things, or you're hearing some of the cast members, and sometimes they have special guests that are like actors and whatnot. And so it was always cool to see them talking about the show, talking about like what this means or what could this mean and what's going to happen in next week's episode. At the very end, they would always show like a scene at the end, right, of like, this is what to expect in next week's episode of The Walking Dead. And I missed that. That was always a lot of fun to do, because I remember always waiting for that scene as well, because if it was something really cool, I would do a breakdown of that scene. And I just miss a lot of that. I think now there's just a lot of people that talk about The Walking Dead like online, so I feel like a lot of people just kind of watch that. But I don't know, like, I always thought that Talking Dead was better. Like, I always preferred to watch that. And yeah, I'm just gonna, like, I just missed that show. So getting like, behind the scenes stuff, or getting like a special like this, like The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon The Return, is very cool, because we never really had that before. Like last year, I believe, for Daryl Dixon, there was no special like that. And so I think for this show here, it makes sense to do that. I'm also just very interested in how they're going to market Daryl Dixon, because obviously right now they're releasing scenes here and there, and there's like all of this stuff or whatever, but it is definitely going to be very different once we get like 3 weeks before the show premieres, or like 2 weeks, or like the week of, right? Like, there's going to be a lot of promotion that picks up pretty fast here. Like, again, I was expecting a trailer of some kind to drop today. Maybe we don't get that today, but like starting in September, there's going to be something that comes out, right? And there's going to be a lot of promotion, and it's not even just necessarily like new footage and trailers and all that. I want to see if Daryl and Carol are going to be involved in games at all. Like, are they going to be involved in like Warzone or like Fortnite, right? Like, I'm just really curious about that. Like, how much are they going to be involved in some of that, because that really does promote the show quite a bit, and I think that really helped with The Ones Who Live. Though I will say, when you look at the ratings for The Ones Who Live, at least cable ratings anyways, it wasn't really that much higher than the other shows. Like, it really was kind of the same. Like, they're all kind of, roughly the same. And I guess you have to really look at AMC Plus's ratings, right? And, like, that's kind of the thing that you really want to look at, because that's really how anyone watches. Like, who watches on cable anymore, right? Like, not a lot of people. Everyone watches on AMC Plus or whatever. And so the ratings definitely are, or at least the cable ratings don't really matter that much anymore. And I will say, in terms of all of that, like in terms of the ratings for Daryl Dixon season 2, I'm interested in where they're going to go. Like, I'm expecting a slight drop, because that just seems to happen all the time. And again, like, I saw the ratings for Interview with the Vampire on cable, and I believe it was around like 100,000 to 200,000, maybe lower. I could be wrong with that. Maybe it was a little bit higher than that, but definitely, like, before The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon ever gets like canceled, or it's like this is the final season, the ratings would have to drop a lot, like a lot before anything like that ever happened. And obviously the show's very successful and very, very popular on AMC Plus. But I'm just interested in the promotion for this show, because it hasn't been the craziest over the last couple of months. I mean, obviously you're not going to promote the show then a lot, right? But again, like, we have this next month here where they can really start to promote it quite a bit here, and they are starting to do a lot of stuff now. Like, it has been starting over the last 2 weeks here, but again, having Daryl and Carol in like video games, or just having the actors, you know, go to some of the talk shows and whatnot, talking about the show and all of that, like, I expect a lot of that stuff to start in about 2 or 3 weeks, because when I look at The Ones Who Live, were Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrera promoting the show like a month beforehand, like on January 25th? No, they weren't. Like, a lot of that stuff started like the last week or two of The Ones Who Live. Because I even remember with The Ones Who Live, like a month before that, actually, I think they released a trailer on that day, but like the day before, a couple of days before, people were like, there's nothing to talk about. The show's coming out in a month from now, and there's like no news of anything. And then all of a sudden, there was just like a bunch of stuff that came out of nowhere, right? So I'm expecting the same thing here with Daryl Dixon, but we'll have to wait and see. You know, this is the time where I feel like, in terms of marketing, what you really want to focus on too is just like, you know, interaction with some of the fans and all of that, like doing Q&As and all of that, and you know, just a lot of fun stuff like that. So we'll have to wait and see what they do here, but we are exactly 1 month away now until The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon premieres, and I am very, very excited. I cannot wait for, I guess, this supersized premiere that we're going to be getting here, and I can't wait to see what that's really going to be. I mean, is it going to show anything from, I'm trying to think, you know, just in general, because I remember last year they did something for The Ones Who Live with Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrera, where they went like back to Alexandria. They talked about certain scenes on The Walking Dead and like what this meant and all of that, and what it was like leaving the show. And, you know, they looked at certain props and all of that and was like, oh yeah, I remember doing this and that. So I wonder if it's very similar in that way, where they had Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride go back to The Walking Dead and talk about like, oh, I remember this moment, this and that. I feel like a lot of that's going to be, you know, some of the Cherokee Rose scenes, you know, if they go back to Herschel's farm and a lot of stuff like that. I feel like you could easily do something like that and make it really, I mean, I think it would just be really cool to see a lot of that. I think a lot of fans would appreciate that. I think just that nostalgia would be a lot of fun. And yeah, because I think a lot of fans right now are excited to see Daryl and Carol reunite, and it'll be nice to have them back on The Walking Dead. I'm really excited. So anyways, I'm going to leave it here.